my God, the bolts are gone.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Clinch River Homestead. I'm John. So we realized that we're missing a couple bolts underneath the tractor. So we got to fix that today, and while I was under there, I found a couple extra grease fittings that we didn't know about when we did our 50-hour service. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, stay tuned. Alright, so I want to get under the tractor here and I'm going to show you what bolts we're missing, and we're going to show you how we're going to fix that. So let's go. Alright, so the first one is right here on this outer fuel tank, and the second one is back there on the back strap for the fuel tank. So what I did was I had to take the front bolt off here to go to the hardware store to find it, because I had no idea what thread it is. So for anybody that may have the same issue as I did, or do, you need to get a new nut, but you need to know what size it is. So I was able to find the size out, and it is an M10. There you go. So that's a M10 by 1.5 millimeter nut. So that's what goes on there. So what I decided to do was I went out and got some of these cool lock nuts with a nylon lock washer in them. And then I also went out and bought stainless steel lock washers. And then underneath of that, we have our regular washers that are going to go up against. So this washer is kind of just going to go right up here, and this way it'll even the load out of the clamping force here when I do that. So I'm going to get all those on right now, the front and the rear, and tighten those down, and then I'm going to get underneath of here and show you those extra couple grease fittings that I didn't know about. I realized that there may be another one over there. I watched Hank over at the Hamiltonville farm. I watched Hank over at the Hamiltonville farm, and he's got a 52 series tractor, and he pointed out a grease fitting on the left-hand rear that he had. And when I went looking, one that I couldn't get to at all because it's a 90-degree fitting, and I'm going to take care of that today. And then there was one underneath that I didn't know about, and while I was under here looking for the fuel tank bolts is when I realized I was missing that grease fitting. So I'm going to get under. I already greased up the fitting that's under here, and the one that's on the top over here. There's another one over top, which is that 90-degree one, so we're going to get that today. But I'm going to show you all the fittings for that. So, but first, let me get these bolts on this fuel tank, or nuts on this fuel tank, so we can get this secured up. All right? All right, so I went ahead and got the little lock washer on there now. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the nylock nut on there. And then I'm going to tighten that down, and that should keep that thing secured, and that won't fall out again. So if you guys have the same problem, and you may, because the nuts that they use on them I don't think are the proper style, you may want to go ahead and do that as well. Okay, so when tightening these things down, you want to make sure that you don't over tighten these. You also want to make sure that when you tighten it up that your strap is going to be straight on here. But basically all I do is I take it all the way up until it compresses that little lock nut or lock washer. So when it compresses this little lock washer here, that's about when I'm going to stop, and then that's it. And that should keep enough pressure on it to keep it in place here. So going to go ahead and get the back one on now. Yep, the back one's way back there, so I'm going to have to do that without a camera. All right, let me pop this back one on real quick, and then I'll be right back with you so we can take a look at those grease fittings. All right, so I got that back bolt on the fuel tank there, so let's go take a look. There we are. So fuel tank is now secured. So let's hop under this now, and I'm going to show you those two, well, there's one grease fitting under here. All right, so let's get under here. Okay. So while I was under here with this fuel tank, the bolt just so happened to be right next to a grease fitting. And I wouldn't have seen it because the fitting itself was covered in like dirt, and I don't know, I must have saw a glimmer or something. And then I looked at it and it was there. So I'm going to show you where it is because you probably won't see it either unless you got right down here next to your fuel tank. Here we go. Okay, so here it is, right here. It's on the lower linkage. It's right behind the fuel tank. So if you actually, here's the bolt that I just replaced on the fuel tank, on the back of the fuel tank right here. So if you just go a little bit further back, it's right on this linkage. And you want to get this one right here. And I'm going to take you up top now. I didn't see any more down here. So let's go up top side and I'll show you the other one up there. All right, so now we're around here at the back side of the tractor. And if you missed the other grease fittings that we're talking about on the tractor today, you want to know all the other ones, I'll put a link up to my 50-hour service video and you can see all those fittings in there. Oh, and by the way, if you like the content you're watching today and you'd like to see more like it, just hit that subscribe button and tick the little bell. You'll get notified on all of our future videos. All right, let's show you down here. Okay. All right, I think you can see it right there in front of me. I'll put an arrow on it. And that's the grease fitting that you got to get to back there. As you can see, it's really hard to get to because it's on a 90-degree angle and it's pointing towards the cab. I just don't understand why they did that. And they didn't face it backwards or something so that you can get to the darn thing. So I had to go out and buy this, which hopefully this is going to work. So the idea is that that will slide over top of the Zerk fitting. So we'll see, I don't know. But it's kind of a weird spot to put a grease fitting. So make sure, if you got a Branson 5520, that you get that grease fitting on top and all the other ones. All right, well, it did the trick. I will say, if you're going to go grab one of these there, that you want to make sure that you hit the grease gun first to get this thing lubed up before you go try to slide it on. But I will say, once it gets on there, man, it was hard to get off. So, but that's the only one we're going to have to do like that. Okay, so I think this about wraps up the video for today. We were able to get all the grease fittings greased on it now. And we got the fuel tank secure, and that was the main thing for today. But I hope everybody enjoyed the video today. If you got some good information on it, smash that thumbs up button. And as always, if you'd like to see more, hit that subscribe and tick that little bell. You'll get notified on all of our future videos. Thanks everybody for watching the Clinch River Homestead. I'm John, and we'll see you on the next one.